Hey everyone, today I'm going to do a little, I guess I call it a book chat. I have a book review. I wanted to talk about our book club choice that we read this month in my book group. And I also wanted to recommend a new series for those of you that don't like or won't like the historical fiction genre. One moment. No. So, anyway, I think I'm going to have a dog on my lap here because if I sit down on a chair where the dogs can get to me, then they feel like they need to be sitting on my lap. So, anyway, I want to start with a review of the book that we read for our book club group this month for October, and it's called Zeitoun. And I will put that information in the description box if this is something that you're interested in. It's by Dave Eggers, and it's a non-fiction account. It reads like a story, but it's a non-fiction account of a family, a husband and wife, who live in New Orleans. The husband is originally from Syria, and he is a Muslim. And his wife is an American-born Southern girl from Baton Rouge who converts to Islam before she meets him. That's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? This happens before the story starts, but just to set it up, they get married and they have children. And it's the story of the days immediately preceding Hurricane Katrina and what happens to this family during the course of Katrina and the relief efforts. My initial reaction to this story, or this account, was I didn't like it. And then I started to think about it a little more. This is not a book that you read for fun. This is a book that I think should be read. It's not going to be a book you're going to want to reread, but if you want to be challenged and you want a book that makes you think, then this is the book for you. There are some very dark parts of this book. Hurricane Katrina was not a happy time for our country. I thought I knew quite a lot about what happened in New Orleans during that period. Where I live is not all that far away, and we had thousands of evacuees sent here in Texas, and I actually volunteered in one of the staging areas. So I thought I had heard pretty much everything that happened, and there was a large part of the story that completely shocked me. And in our book group discussion yesterday, it shocked everyone. Even one of the women in our group is from New Orleans. Her family still lives there, and she didn't even know that this had happened. And we researched it and found these things really did happen. I don't want to go into it. It will spoil the story, but it's disturbing. I will tell you, none of their children die. So I started reading the book. I got about 4 pages in, and I called one of the other girls who had already read the book and said, "You've got to tell me right now, if somebody dies, I'm not reading this book anymore." So nobody that is central to the story, no people die. No people die in this story that we know. But some of the images are quite graphic, and I found that when I finished the book that night, I had to go read something else before I went to bed because I couldn't get some of the stuff out of my head. But if you want something, like I said, that's challenging, that will stimulate you, will make you think about things, something definitely to talk about, Zeitoun by Dave Eggers. And he also wrote What is the What? And Entertainment Weekly called this the book of the decade. So if you like Oprah books that are kind of sad and depressing, you'll love this one. Okay, also if you want to follow along with what I'm reading for my book group, November's choice is The Help by Kathryn Stockett. And I have read this book before, and I'm looking forward to rereading it. It's set in the early 1960s. I can't remember which state. It's either Mississippi, I want to say it's Mississippi or Alabama, but somewhere in the Deep South, early 60s, before the Civil Rights Act was passed. And it focuses on the relationship between white families and the black nannies who are essentially raising their children for them. And it's fictional, but it's historical fiction. These things really happened, and it's a story that it makes you think, it'll make you laugh, it'll probably make you cry. It's a little disturbing to think that this stuff happened not all that long ago and may still be happening. So if y'all want to read along, my book group is meeting November 10th, so I will follow up with that meeting with another video about what we talked about. So The Help by Kathryn Stockett, and I'll put that in the description box as well. Now, if you're looking for something fun to read, I wanted to pick another one of my favorite series that is very different from the Outlander series. So if you enjoy the Outlander series, that's great. The only thing that this series has in common is what I would call extreme character development. And that may be because, as of right now, there are 30 books in the series, and 31 is getting released November, let me check my notes, November 2nd. So, hang on. Mimi, come on, baby. Come on, Mimi. You want to come up? No, she doesn't want to come up. She doesn't want to share my lap. Anyway, the series is by Robb, who also writes romance novels under Nora Roberts. These are not romance novels, and I like a good romance novel, and I like Nora Roberts books as well, but these books are by her alter ego, her pseudonym, whatever you want to call it. Mimi, if you want to come up here, then come up here. And it's called the In Death series. They are murder mysteries set in the late 21st century, or 22nd century. Not so far ahead in the future that it's all kind of Star Trek and science fiction-y, but enough in the future that the computers in the cars are way better than what we have, and there is some interspace travel. But that is not central to the story at all, really. Because I like fantasy, but I'm not a science fiction fan. I'm not a Star Trek fan, or Star Wars, so... anyway, not as an adult, anyway. These are murder mysteries. They're set in New York City, about 100 years in the future, and the central character is Lieutenant Eve Dallas, who is a homicide detective for New York City, and all of the books end in the words "in death." So the first book is called Naked in Death, and then under Mimi is the second book. Here we go. Immortal in Death. I think this is the second book. And no, it's the third book. There's Naked in Death, Glory in Death, Immortal in Death, Rapture in Death, and so forth. There's 30 titles. So if you I like getting into a series and knowing that I can really get to know the characters, and I hate reading a book that I love and it's done and there's no more to it and we never see those people again. I like them almost like they're part of my life. So the character development is fabulous. Lieutenant Eve Dallas, her background, her history, how she ticks, the love interest in the story that I will not say his name because that'll spoil the first book. But her eventual love interest and his background is very interesting. The additional characters, the supporting cast, if you will, and the murder mystery itself. The crimes are always really over the top. The style that it's written in, it's I don't know how to describe it. It reads well. So if you like a good murder mystery and you want to get a good long series that you can read for a while, 30 books should keep you busy, I will say I can knock out one of these in a day or two, but I will stay up all night reading it. If I was a normal person and only read like an hour or so a day, then it might take me 4 or 5 days. I don't know. They read quickly. They're great vacation novels. They average about 300 to 400 pages in paperback. They're always at your local library. Costco always carries them when they get released. Katie, if you're watching this, my friend Katie, she's the one that, I don't remember if she actually introduced me to this series, but she definitely fed the addiction because she owns every single one of these in hardcover, and she just kept supplying me. I felt like she was my drug dealer. I'd read a few, I'd call her and be like, I need my next fix. So Katie, I'm counting on you to buy the next book that's coming out in a few weeks, and as soon as you're done, I get dibs. So, I hope that you enjoy these book recommendations. I know a lot of you picked up the Outlander series and are just getting started on that. I can't wait to hear what y'all think of that. I hope that you check out Robb and her books. Zeitoun, again, if you want a great challenging book, check that one out. And The Help by Kathryn Stockett for next month. So, have fun, happy reading, go out and learn something, and I will talk to y'all soon. Say bye, doggies. Goodbye.